Hello and welcome to today's Association for Manufacturing Excellence webinar titled Closing the Growing Skills Gap. I'm Judy Zarnick, Membership Manager for AME. Today's presenter is Glenn Marshall. Glenn is a member of the AME management team where he oversees sponsorships. He is retired from Newport News Shipbuilding, where he was a benchmarking process excellence advocate and continues to work with NNS in its outreach to the public schools and colleges on career pathways. Before we start, just a couple of items. You will be in listen-only mode throughout the webinar. If you have questions during the webinar, please type them into the questions area of the attendee panel and click Submit. We'll review the questions at the end of today's presentation and answer as many as we can. After you log off today, you'll receive an email link to complete a short webinar survey. Please take a few minutes to complete the survey as your feedback is important to us. Now, I am pleased to introduce Glenn Marshall, who will present Closing the Growing Skills Gap. Take it away, Glenn.
Good morning, everybody. Glad that you're able to listen in on our webinar today. What we're going to be talking about is closing the growing skills gap, which is a problem that's facing most manufacturers. And in fact, it's not only manufacturers, but the whole country is facing a shortage of skilled professionals. What I wanted to share with you today is the importance of us collectively as manufacturers and other industry leaders, what we can do to help prepare the next generation for the jobs, the work, or the careers they want. And the reason that we're talking to you today is we wanted to hopefully share information that will help you make informed decisions what you can do on closing the skills gap. But more importantly, we want to find solutions that work and work for everybody in all industries and professions. One thing that I like about the AME webinars is it allows me to share a message with you today, but it also allows us to take this message and share it with a lot of other people that need to find out what's going on. And I would encourage anybody out in the audience that is sharing this message that can help you or your company learn how to share best information, best practices with everyone. And the good news is it doesn't have to be on the day of the webinar. It can be done any time that the people want to see it. So if you have a first, second, or third shift and you want to get the message out, you can do it when they are available to hear it. So I think this is an important tool that we all can use to get more information from Judy on how your company or you can provide information for webinars. And webinars are not just for consultants, they're for practitioners like myself that want to share a message that's important for everybody to understand. And as we go through this presentation today, keep thinking about how you or your company can share best practices with other people. I wanted to go back a little bit in history and share with you what the nation has been faced with manufacturing or the job shortages before. During the war, World War II, when all the men went off to war, we had to figure out a way that we could bring in people that were non-traditional workers into the factory. And Training with Industry, which was a bunch of different work programs that were put together for the nation. And what they did is they taught people who had never done these jobs before how to do the job correctly. And they called it like job instruction. So a lady who had never been in a factory before was able to be coached by other professional who understood it, knew the key points, the skills that were required, that they could become confident in doing job right the first time. And at the end of World War II, the manufacturers had outproduced the Axis nations. So it was really a great way that we motivated a lot of people who would have never been in a factory, never thought they could build anything, were able to do it, and they did it. And then if you look forward to what we're faced with today, where we want to make more things in America, and all the reshoring that happened, and a lot of our talent was shipped offshore to other countries. So what we're looking at now is how can we take this this opportunity to close the skills gap and turn it to our advantage. And what we're looking at down in the right-hand corner, you see a person and a robot who are really looking at what they can do together. Everybody's been concerned that we're going to lose a lot of jobs because of robots, but that's not really the case. In fact, we're finding out more jobs are going to be created. As robots take on these lower skilled jobs, it's going to require that gentleman there who has the skills, or that lady, to take that information and share it with programmers so robots can be instructed how to do these routine, monotonous jobs that people don't want to do. But what it's going to do, it's going to allow more people to move up to the next level of being a skilled trainer, a programmer, whatever. So the good news is, yes, robots are going to take a lot of jobs, but those are the jobs that we don't want to do or we've been shipping overseas. So more to come on the presentation about how we can take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution and take people and put them to work. And they will be the supervisors and managers of the robots to do those jobs that nobody really wanted to do. I wanted to share with you just a little bit how the critical shortage is affecting everybody. And when I say 84% of manufacturers agree there is a talent shortage, this is not just true of manufacturers, it's true of everybody in the country. And when you look at the latest unemployment numbers, the unemployment rate is under 4%, which some people say is full employment. But what we're finding is we can't find the people we need to do these jobs. And when you look at 5 out of 10 positions are going unfilled because of the skills gap, there's a lot of jobs that are being created if we only have the right skills and talent to do it. And then when we look at what the Manufacturing Institute and Deloitte and Touche put a study out, by 2028, an estimated 2.4 million positions will be unfilled due to the talent shortage. And what we need to consider is just like Wayne Gretzky, the all-star hockey player, he said, I skate to where the puck's going to be, not where it's been. And that's what manufacturers need to start doing. We understood what it used to be in manufacturing, and now we need to figure out how we in manufacturing and in all jobs, we're going to find that robots and other innovation is going to be able to be used, but we need to figure out what it's going to take for us to be prepared for the future. And jobs are going to continue to change. What's the jobs right now, 50% of those in the next 5 years will be altogether different. So it's important that we think what the jobs of the future look like, not what manufacturing used to be. One of the other things I think it's important to understand is when you look at the talent pipeline and graduating career and college-ready citizens, when you look at our school systems, public schools and colleges, students are graduating, but unfortunately they're not coming out with the needed skills to obtain the jobs that are available. And when you look at some pretty concerning information, only 37% of 12th graders are proficient in reading, 25% in math, and 22% in science. So when you look at what we're putting out of the talent pipeline, there's a lot of opportunities for us to do a better job in graduating career-ready citizens, which is going to be incumbent on people in the industry to work with the schools to figure out what's the curriculum we need, what can we do to graduate career-ready citizens. And the other point is everybody's being told to college. You know, if you're not going to college, you're not going to make it in the world. But the reality is that only 35% of the jobs that are out there require a bachelor's degree or above. And then when you look at the results of all these young people paying a lot of money to come out of college with a degree, but 41% of the recent college graduates are underemployed. So you look and say, well, if everybody's been told to go to college, but yet 41% of them are coming out with a degree that's not employable or people want, we need to look at changing it. And what we're finding out is that we in industry, we in the communities need to look over the next 5 years at apprenticeship, workplace learning, and continuing education with a strong workplace education and training will be the focus for employers. And what we're looking at when you look around the world and you look at Switzerland, Germany, and Australia and different places like that, they are using a method of where they look at what people are best suited to do and they train them to do that, plus they encourage people to go into the workplace and see what the jobs require and what they need to learn in school to be successful. One of the things that's been very successful in America, though, the 21st century career and technical education courses that have been around for a long time. They used to be called shop classes and whatever, but the new career and technical education courses that we're putting on in the schools now are to make people career and college ready. And when you look at the results, 93% of these kids that go through CT&E courses are graduating, and they're at least 10% higher than the average of people that just take the general education courses. So you say, geez, why would I send everybody to the advanced placement courses when they can go to career and technical education and get the skills they need? And also these students are motivated to go into enrolling in post-secondary education. And the real deal breaker, the real reason people need to consider this, 27% of the people with associate's degree or less out-earn those with bachelor's degrees. So there's money to be made in these career and technical education fields, and there's not enough of these students being graduated. And then when you look at what the schools are able to produce, the students are interested in these professions or courses. 33% of them go into business, computers, communication and design, 30% in computer information and sciences. So the people that are coming through these career and technical educations are finding out what it really takes to get an education that's going to make them successful, and we somewhat call this learning that works. I wanted to share with you what Newport News Shipbuilding's done with their Career Pathways program. I'm a Career Pathways volunteer. I worked at Newport News for several years and Texas Instruments before that. And the schools are always been a very important part of what we in manufacturing, we in business need to look at. And the really neat thing that Newport News Shipbuilding does is they have 6 different categories of where they're going out and working with the schools and community colleges. And what they are offering is internships where students can come spend some time, or in college graduates as well, can come spend some time working in those jobs and seeing what they are. They get paid. The other key ingredient is that the teachers are being paid in the summer to come in for 2 weeks and learn what the businesses really need so they can go back to their classes and teach the subjects that will make these kids very employable. Job shadowing, we want people to come in and see what we do at the shipyard, and it's not all dirty, nasty jobs. And the people that do these are highly skilled. And when you look at what you can learn and apply in shipbuilding, it's every job you can think of: lawyers, doctors, logistics, skilled people, firemen. It has all the different professions that you would ever want to go participate in. And then the latest stuff we're into is we bring a lot of these young people in. They're getting to see what virtual reality and augmented reality and all the different things we're doing with advanced technologies. And they come in and they say, wow, this is neat stuff, and they want to do more of it. And we also go out and we put on career fairs, and we have speakers bureaus. The picture there in the lower left-hand corner shows you that the students are at a table and they're being talked to from a professional leader, like at NASA, Canon, Newport News Shipbuilding, or other places. So these kids get to talk to people who are in the field using these computer tools, computer-aided design, and all this. And the kids really love it. The instructors get excited because they get a break from their normal job to go share this message. And then if you look at the picture there, middle school partnership, we are doing partnerships with all the schools in Peninsula that would like to participate in the Career Pathways program. And then the last one is kind of a neat thing where we have people that are in our Career Pathways program go out to schools and they do things like the egg drop contest, where people have to drop an egg from a couple of stories and make sure it doesn't break. Well, that gets the kids involved, and teamwork, physics, all the other neat stuff you got to do to build something that'll let an egg drop quite a distance and not break. So all these are things that other businesses and companies can do. And these are the things where industry, manufacturing, businesses, and the community and the schools can get together. And the great thing about career pathways is it exposes these kids to the stuff they're doing at their grade level so they can really get a grasp of what I'm learning in school and how it applies in business, what I get paid to do these skilled jobs. And we're also focusing on STEM skills that are needed for workplace applications. And when you think science, technology, engineering, and math, well, they're just needed for the engineering. Not true when you think about people that cook food, pharmacists. Everybody needs to know how to apply math and science in their daily job. And more of that's going to be true as we move into this next generation of workers to lead the fourth industrial revolution. What I wanted to show you here is Manufacturing Day. This is one of the best ways we have found that we can go reach out to the business and manufacturing community and share the manufacturer's story about what it means to work in manufacturing. And you'll look over here, Walmart Distribution Center. Well, why would you ever go to Walmart Distribution? They don't make things. Yes, they don't make things, but they have one of the best logistics systems you can find in the world. And here lately, you think about, well, distribution, how do you get stuff? Well, those trucks that are in that picture there, they're now paying truck drivers $90,000. So if you want to get an education and you say, well, geez, I don't want to be a truck driver, but you make $90,000. But also the good thing about Walmart is they have the people in these logistics areas working like 4 days on and 3 days off, and they can go to college. They get tuition reimbursement. So Walmart's doing a good job of helping these people build for the future. Print Pack over on the right there, they build these containers that you put applesauce and different stuff. It's got to sit on a shelf for 18 months. Really neat stuff. And we had some of the people that gave the tour went to the local high schools and college and got to tell the story, which got the people excited. Well, Ball Metal, everybody knows what Ball Metal is, because when you pick up a Budweiser can, a Coke can, a ginger ale can or something, they build those in Williamsburg, Virginia, and then they also go to the Anheuser-Busch manufacturing facility. So we were able to show some of the supply chain stuff that goes on. And then the last picture I want to show you is Newport News Shipbuilding, and Joey Perry is the supervisor in the machine shop. And he's talking to the teachers and the career counselors on Manufacturing Day to say, hey, this is what you really need to be teaching the students so they can come work at the shipyard. And the shipyard pays very good wages. And like what Joey was saying is, I need people that can do Algebra 2, trigonometry, calculus, and all the stuff the kids are learning in school and think, well, why do I got to learn it? But to be a machinist at the shipyard and all the advanced machines we're dealing with, the computer aided design and everything's going to require these kind of tools. And then I want to share with you where the future is at the shipyard. But the future of the shipyard is apprenticeships, and the apprenticeship school's been around since 1919. So it's been a long tradition of turning out graduates who have the right crafts. They know how to have the academic learning and leadership, which we need at the shipyard. And the students who get picked to go to the shipyard, only 230 seats for 9,000 for 6,000 applications. So, well, there's a lot of opportunities at the shipyard, but you've got to get the right kind of education to even qualify. And when you think about the number of applicants that applied versus acceptance rate, which is better than Harvard, you think, wow, this is a very competitive place to go. And when you look at it, where else can you start at over $17 an hour with benefits that works towards your seniority and all the other benefits that go along? So these people get to learn and learn by doing, which they get to go to the shops or the factories or engineering or wherever, and they get to see what it takes to be a shipbuilder. And a shipbuilder is an engineer, a designer, a craftsman, whatever. And the other part is at the end of their 4 to 5 year apprenticeship, they are graduating as leaders, and they go through graduation. So what we're looking for are these students to graduate with the leadership traits and skills so they can become future leaders of the shipyard. The cost of the shipyard putting out these accomplished apprentices is equal to the Naval or Air Force Academy. It's over $350,000 gets invested in each of these folks. And the other interesting part is when they graduate, they start at $60,000. They're debt-free. They can go do multiple things at the shipyard. They can continue their education and get bachelor's and advanced degrees. All the credits that come out of the shipyard or the apprenticeship program are transferable. So it's really a great place to work, and it's a great place to learn. And the future is not only for men, but we're looking to say, well, just like Rosie the Riveter came to the rescue in World War II, once again, the next generation of makers were looking to women in the workplace. And when you look up there at this young lady who's got her hand on a robot, and she and the robot, or cobots, are working together to do welding or doing various jobs in the shipyard. And when you start looking at what the capabilities and the resources that are available for women, you look at 42% of the U.S. labor force in 2016 were women, and we only got 29% of them into manufacturing. And then you look again at the level of the education and skills that they have. Half of them have associate degrees, bachelor's degrees, and master's degrees. Women are holding more than half of all U.S. managerial and professional positions. And I can speak personally, when I was running my operation in Colorado Springs, I had ladies who were working in managerial positions, not in training and safety and the other things. These ladies ran the logistics systems and the machine shops and other things like that, and they are extremely capable and very good at what they do. And the guys sometimes would come in and say, well, why are these women running the place? They said, first of all, they can raise a family. They know how to manage more things. And so I would suggest you learn from them how to be a great supervisor. And another really great accomplishment at the shipyard, I've been there for several years, and I was part of the Association for Manufacturing Excellence. And one of my most enjoyable jobs was being a mentor to Jennifer Boykin, who is now the first woman president, or first woman to serve as president of Newport News Shipbuilding. Jennifer is a really go-getting person. She graduated from the Merchant Marine Academy, was one of the first to go to the class when they were bringing women through. And I can tell you firsthand, she knows how to build ships. She's a very interested person in helping people grow their careers. She's been a big supporter of AME, and when you think how big the shipyard is, and you'd say, who would be a new president? Jennifer has definitely done a great job, and we're very proud of what she's doing, and she is very supportive of how we can learn to build ships quicker, better, faster, and they're always good ships. The other thing that's becoming of age, and it's not just at the shipyard, but I'm going to relate this to the shipyard that I have firsthand experience in. When you look at how we're going to build ships in the future, design for manufacturing comes from using virtual and augmented reality. When you see that engineer, they're looking at a tablet that displays what a compartment or part of a ship should look like. And he can change the colors and everything in there. In fact, when an admiral comes through, we have in the past, we said, Admiral, what don't you like that? I don't like the color of this and that. And we go transform it right before his eyes, which is an amazing thing. And then when you think about now that we know how to build these ships and what they're going to look like before we ever design them, and then you get down to the deck plate where we have really capable, skilled craftsmen doing work, but now they can go look at an area that they're going to do a job, what it looks like when it's completed, what are the parts it takes to be in there. They can also order parts that need to be replaced, troubleshoot things. So now between the guys who are designing it for manufacturing and increasing the producibility in the on the deck plate, we are able to see significant savings. And where those savings are being recognized are everybody's become more efficient. The training time to train somebody to do the job right the first time has gone from hours to minutes. We reduced the number of errors and rework. Safety's gotten better. So all these things are parts that are coming together where we put virtual reality, augmented reality in the hands of workers, and the workers are able to do more, plus they're also able to document how to do things right the first time, and some of these routine, monotonous jobs will be done by robots in the future. The one thing I wanted to share with you today, in addition to what I have experienced at Texas Instruments and Newport News Shipbuilding, is currently we have 7.6 million jobs that are going unfilled due to a talent shortage. And when you say, that's a lot of people who are looking for jobs, and these are good jobs that pay good wages, but unfortunately we don't have people that have the skills that are needed to compete in these areas. And so what we've been doing over the years is AME has held workshops and different things to bring people together to look at what it's going to take to be competitive in the future. But it's not only the jobs at the shipyard, but what we need for jobs in total. And when you see here, we're going to start bringing together industry and educational leaders to share best practices. And I wanted to share with you one thing that we, Newport News Shipbuilding and AME, has been participating with the Learning First Alliance, who's been holding summits in D.C., because the schools want to find out what it's going to take them to be competitive and put out the talent that we need in industry. And one of the outcomes of that is that we're doing a summit in San Antonio with the San Antonio Manufacturers Association. And we're bringing in some best practice thought leaders from across the country. And when you look at Goodyear Innovation Center, they've won the AME Excellence Award. But what they do is they build the race car tires. And these are really highly trained people that do it, but they've got to bring in people and teach them how to do it, which they're doing. So they have an onboarding program to bring in people that can do these jobs that very few people can do, but it's also a best practice they can share on how to onboard people as well. Toyota Motor Company, I think everybody's heard about them and how proactive they've been in leading lean in the country. But what they're going to share with everybody is how they have taken people that want to get into careers in manufacturing, be technicians in dealerships, and anymore a mechanic or somebody who works on a car as a computer technician and has to have lots of skills. And they're working to bring those people on board early in the talent pipeline so they can work on Toyota cars to build them and make them right the first time. And I talked a lot about Newport News Shipbuilding, and you're going to learn a lot more about the apprentice school and how we continue to fill the talent pipeline with career-ready citizens, working with our schools and our colleges to fill that pipeline. SME Tooling you get to hear about how they've got courses that are helping us retool people, but also educate people that are in school how to become more productive and more competitive. And Jobs for the Future is really one that I'm most proud of, in the fact that they are leading the charge on looking at getting apprenticeships spread across the country. And they are also using best practices from the Swiss and German apprenticeship programs, so a lot to learn there. And last but not least, the Center for Occupational Research and Development, Dr. Hinckley is going to cover a survey and study they did. What is it that businesses say they need? What is it the schools need to do? And he's going to share that with everybody. So this is what the schools need to be teaching. This is how manufacturing needs to work for the schools, and this is what manufacturing needs to have the next generation of makers. And last but not least, we get to tour the world-class training facility at Alamo Academies and St. College. This is a great place. I've been there twice, They have like 5 different initiatives, manufacturing information. They build airplane motors. They do a lot of neat stuff. And the good thing is you can get to see how businesses provide scholarships so students can go to the academy, and when they graduate, they've got jobs pre-planned for them. So this is really a great opportunity to see how you, your company, your teachers, your educators, your business leaders can work together to close the skills gap. Here's a flyer for it. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be May the 9th and 10th in San Antonio. It's going to be a very interactive session where people are going to be asking questions and learning. We want people who can share their best practices to bring them to San Antonio. And then when you look down there, if you want to register, www.ame.org/event San Antonio. Go to the AME website. We're also offering a 20% discount for people who want to attend. And the other benefit of coming is you're going to be able to attend the South Central Texas Manufacturing Trade Show and Conference. This is the precursor to the 2 days that we're going to share best practices. There you're going to get to see what industry is offering, machines, new processes, education, whatever. 2 keynote speakers. Going to learn about history of manufacturing, and Jeannie Coons is going to share with you all the stuff that Tooling U is doing and what's the status of education and manufacturing in the country. We're partnering with them to put on the San Antonio Summit that you can attend the following day. And then the grand finale for every year is AME has a international conference. This year we're in Chicago. The great thing is you have people from over 20 countries that come here every year, and you get to share, learn, and grow with the people in Chicago. Plus there'll be some great tours and workshops. There again, you can get all this information on the AME website. Want to wrap up now, and want to thank you for listening, and really can't thank you enough for tuning in, and want you to share what you've learned with others, and also become a participant or a presenter at a future webinar for AME.
Thank you, Glenn. We do have some questions. The first question is, what do businesses need to do to get involved in their communities to help close the skills gap?
Well, I guess the thing I would say is every business needs to get involved in the school system, because if we don't get the schools teaching the subjects we need, will not be successful. Manufacturing Day is another event that we put on that helps open everybody's eyes to the future. But the bottom line is just go get involved with your school, and you'll be surprised the difference you can make in your community.
Okay, here's another question. What are some proven programs to help prepare students for careers in advanced manufacturing?
Well, the good news is almost every job you can think of is going to be needed in the fourth industrial revolution. But the things that you really need to be able to do is you got to start thinking how you could program solutions, how you can learn to do things that are going to be needed in the future, and through the career pathways programs that you can offer or students can go through in the schools, they can see firsthand what it would take to be successful in the 21st century. But more importantly, they can figure out what's the right career, so when they decide to go to college, a community college, or a trade school, they've got the information needed to make that decision.
Okay, and we have one more question. What would you recommend to parents to get their children to prepare for and pick a good career pathway?
Well, first of all, we need to educate the parents that skills in manufacturing are really good careers, because what we're finding out is most parents don't even consider their kids ought to be going into manufacturing. But I think one thing they need to understand is that manufacturing has doctors, lawyers, logistics, forklift drivers, skilled mechanics, welders, you name it. All those opportunities to be successful in life are there. let your children go do something they enjoy doing, and they will never work a day in their lives. But it's important that the parents, the guidance counselors recognize that there's more to life than just getting a degree. It's very important that you get the skills you need to be successful in life, and these classes they offer, like Project Lead the Way, the career pathways programs and all, are great opportunities for the kids to see firsthand what they want to be when they grow up. So all I can say is everybody needs to get involved. Manufacturing is a great way to make a living. I've been in it for a lot of years, and I can't tell you how much the young people get excited about it when they get to experience it. So I hope everybody goes and looks to see what's available in their community and gets their children excited about doing something they love.
Thank you, Glenn, for an insightful presentation. This brings our webinar to a close. Please visit the AME website at ame.org to register for the San Antonio Summit May 9th and 10th. Thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar.